Hello and greetings. This is Dr. VC Sontake, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and I am going to take the course Heat Transfer. I am starting Unit 4, which is devoted to free convection, boiling, and condensation. The syllabus of this unit is as follows. The syllabus of Unit 4 is divided into two subcategories. The first category is devoted to free or natural convection, which includes various topics like Grashof number, Rayleigh number, dimensional analysis applied to free or natural convection, flow over horizontal and vertical plate, and different correlations for cylinder and spheres. In subcategory 2, it is devoted to heat transfer with phase change, which includes topics like pool boiling curve and regimes of pool boiling, film-wise and drop-wise condensation, laminar film condensation on vertical surface, on horizontal tubes, effect of superheated and non-condensable gases on condensation heat transfer. So let us first start our discussion with free or natural convection. So objectives of this video lecture are to explain the concept and mechanism of heat transfer by free or natural convection. 2. To explain convection pattern for vertical, inclined and horizontal surfaces and cylinder. And last objective is to explain various non-dimensional numbers governing natural convection heat transfer process. So let us start our discussion with free convection. We know that convection is the mode of heat transfer by which heat transfer takes place preferably in fluid and powdery substance. And convection is called as free or natural convection when the motion and mixing of fluid is caused by density variation that is resulting from temperature differences within the fluid or between fluid and solid surface. Natural convection is a mechanism or type of heat transfer process in which the fluid motion is not generated or initiated by any external agency or source like pump, fan, blower, compressor, or any other suction device. Rather, the motion of the fluid is initiated due to density differences in the fluid, and that density differences is created due to temperature gradients. We have already discussed the heat transfer by forced convection. So let us try to find out the difference between forced and free convection. In forced convection heat transfer rate is very large for given temperature difference, whereas in free convection, heat transfer rate is comparatively low for given temperature difference. Value of convective or film heat transfer coefficient is very large in case of forced convection, whereas this value is very small for free convection. An external agency is used to create motion and mixing of the fluid in case of forced convection, whereas in case of free convection, no external agency is used to create motion of the fluid. Rather, density difference in the fluid causes motion and mixing of the fluid. Initial velocity of the fluid is very high in case of forced convection due to employment of external agency, whereas initial velocity of fluid is zero or negligible. So that is the comparative analysis of forced and free convection. Then free convection is also the type of convection. So the rate of heat transfer needs to be calculated for designing a thermal system where heat transfer is taking place by free convection. So Newton's law of cooling can be used to determine the rate of heat transfer in free convection as well. And as per the Newton's law of cooling, Q is equal to h bar As into Ts minus T infinity, where Q is rate of heat transfer, h bar is average convective heat transfer coefficient or film heat transfer coefficient measured in watt per meter square Kelvin. As is the heat transfer surface area in meter square. Ts is the surface temperature in degrees Celsius or Kelvin, and T infinity is the fluid temperature in degrees Celsius or Kelvin. The rate of heat transfer by natural convection process depends on the geometry of the surface as well as its orientation. If the surface area is constant and the same geometry is placed in different orientation with respect to any reference datum, the heat transfer rate will vary. So that is the consequence of orientation in case of free convection heat transfer. The rate of heat transfer in free convection also depends on the variation of the temperature on the surface and the thermophysical properties of the fluid involved, like density, thermal or kinematic, dynamic or kinematic viscosity, thermal diffusivity, thermal conductivity, etc. Examples of heat transfer by free convection mechanism are heat transfer to the surrounding air, heat transfer from a heater to a room, heat transfer from pipes, transmission line, condenser coil of a refrigerator, heat transfer from electrical transformer, electrical motors, and electronic equipments are some of the examples of free convection heat transfer process. Now, mechanism of free convection. The heat transfer by free convection basically involves following steps. First, the temperature difference is created between two fluids or between solid surface and fluid. This temperature difference causes density variation in the fluid involved in heat transfer. This density variation between the different particles of the fluid causes buoyancy due to gravity forces, and this buoyancy causes motion and mixing of fluid, which basically affects the heat transfer. Let us try to understand the mechanism of free convection in great detail. So let us consider a hot plate at temperature Ts. It is exposed to the cold air at temperature T infinity. Surface temperature of the plate is more than the cold air temperature. So heat transfer rate will take place from hot plate to the cold air. Initially, cold particle which is in contact with the hot plate by virtue of temperature difference will receive heat and it will also become heated. When it becomes heated, its density decreases and it becomes lighter and it moves in the upward direction. While moving in the upward direction, it comes into contact with the cold air particle. Once again, by virtue of temperature difference, heat transfer rate will take place from hot, hot to cold air particle. That cold air particle also becomes heated and moves in the upward direction, and while coming into contact with another cold air particle, it will transmit heat to that particle, and this process will go on and on. Meanwhile, other cold air particle which is heavier will come and occupy the space vacated by the previously heated particle. Once again, by virtue of temperature difference between this cold air particle and hot plate will cause heat to transfer, and the cold air particle will once again become heated, and this process will go on and the heat transfer will take place till the temperature of the surface, that is hot, that is plate, and the surrounding fluid become equal. And the moment the temperature difference between plate and the surrounding fluid becomes zero, the heat transfer rate will stop. So this way heat transfer will take place from hot plate to the cold fluid. Vice versa is also taking place if the fluid is heated and surface is cold. So what is happening in this process? Hot air particles are moving in the upward direction and cold air particles are moving in the downward direction. This upward movement of hot air particles, upward movement of hot air particles and downward movement of cold air particle is called as convection current. And this convection current will continue till the temperature difference becomes zero. Now, as we have discussed in the previous slide, there is a convection current, that is upward movement of hot air particle and downward movement of cold air particle. So the motion of fluid in the upward or downward direction depends whether fluid comes into contact with hot or cold surface. For example, when cold air is flowing over a hot surface, let us consider a hot egg. It is exposed to the cold air. So cold air will come into contact with this hot egg, will become heated and will become lighter and will move in the upward direction. However, if a hot air is flowing over a cold surface, for example, let us consider a cold drink can which is chilled is exposed to the hot air, hot surrounding air. So hot air, when it comes into contact with this cold drink can, the air will become cold, hot air will become cold, so its density will decrease, sorry, its density will increase. For example, when hot air comes into contact with the cold drink can surface, its temperature will decrease and density will increase, it will become heavier and will move in the downward direction. Now Let us discuss typical velocity and temperature profile for free or natural convection flow in a vertical heated plate. Let us consider a vertical plate whose surface temperature is Ts and it is more than the surrounding temperature. That is, heated plate is exposed to cold fluid. Since there is no external agency, so initially we can assume that the surrounding fluid is stationary. That is, its velocity is zero. So when this cold air or fluid comes into contact with the heated surface, initially its velocity will be zero at the surface of the plate. The temperature of this air will becomes equal to the temperature of the plate because of no temperature jump condition, and when it becomes heated it will move in the upward direction. So what happens actually, velocity of the fluid is zero at the surface of the plate because of no slip condition. When its temperature increases, it moves and its velocity increases. And also at the boundary layer, velocity is also becomes zero. So there is a boundary layer formation within which velocity is varying such that velocity is zero at the plate surface and at the boundary layer surface, and it is maximum at the middle of this boundary layer. Similarly, the temperature profile, the temperature of the fluid particle will be equal to the surface and it will gradually decreasing and will be equal to fluid temperature at the boundary layer. So this way velocity profile and temperature profile will form when heated plate is exposed to cold air. Similarly, typical velocity and temperature profiles for natural convection flow in vertical cold plate. Now let us consider a cold plate is exposed to the heated fluid. Now temperature of the heated particle in close contact with the cold plate will be equal to the temperature of the cold surface because of no temperature jump condition. Similarly, velocity of this heated particle will be equal to zero at the plate surface and at the boundary layer. So when heated particle comes into contact with the cold plate, it will become heavier and it will move in the downward direction. So its velocity will be increasing somewhere in the middle. So velocity of the particle, fluid particle will be zero at the plate surface because of no slip condition, will be zero at the boundary layer and will be maximum in the middle of the boundary layer. Similarly, temperature profile, temperature of the fluid particle will be equal to the temperature of the surface because of no slip condition, and it will gradually increasing as we are moving towards the velocity boundary layer. So these are two typical cases where boundary layer formation takes place when heated or cold plate is exposed to cold or heated surrounding fluid. Now here the one point worth mentioning is that when the fluid is initially exposed to hot or cold plate, its velocity is zero, but after heat transfer is taking place, its the velocity is imparted to the fluid particle. However, that fluid velocity is maximum somewhere in the middle of the boundary layer. It is zero at the surface and it is zero beyond the boundary layer, that is velocity. So that is quite interesting point. Whereas in force convection, the variation of velocity is taking place. Velocity is zero at the surface. It gradually increases as we move away from the plate, and beyond boundary layer, the velocity of the fluid particle is equal to the pre-strip velocity. However, in case of free convection, it is zero at the surface, velocity is zero at the surface of the plate, zero at the boundary layer, and beyond boundary layer it is zero velocity, and in the middle of the boundary layer the velocity is maximum. So please, this is very interesting information in case of free convection. Now, natural convection flow in horizontal plate. How the temperature profile will vary if a horizontal plate is exposed to the fluid. So let us first consider horizontal hot plate. Let us consider a hot plate is placed horizontally and is exposed to cold fluid. In the downside of this plate, when cold air comes into contact with this hot plate, it will become heated, will become lighter, and will try to move in the upward direction adjacent to this plate. Whereas in the upward direction, cold air comes into contact with the hot plate, will become heated, and will further move in the upward direction. When horizontal cold plate is exposed to the heated fluid. So let us consider a cold plate is exposed to the heated fluid. In the upward direction, when cold air comes into contact with in the upward direction, when the hot air comes into contact with this cold plate, it will become cold, will become heavier, and will try to move in the downward direction. In the downside of this plate, hot air comes into contact with the cold plate, will become cold, and will try to move in the downward direction. Natural convection flow in inclined plate. Let us say heated surface, the plate is inclined in such a way that its heated surface is facing down. In this case, the orientation is taken as positive. So because of heat transfer between plate surface and the fluid, boundary layer formation will be taking place in the downward direction. When plate is inclined in such a way that its cold surface is facing down and hot surface is facing upward, so heat transfer rate will take place on the upside, and boundary layer formation will also take place in the heated face side. Then upward facing heated surface. Once again, the plate is placed in such a way that it is making a negative angle. So boundary layer formation will take place on the heated face side. If Grashof number is less than the critical Grashof number, this way the boundary layer formation will take place. However, when upward facing heated surface is there and Grashof number is greater than the critical Grashof number, so flow will become turbulent and the boundary layer will convert from laminar to turbulent. So separation will be there. Natural convection flow in horizontal cylinder. When a cylinder is placed horizontally, let's say it is heated and is exposed to the cold air, So cold air comes into contact with the heated cylinder, will become heated, will become lighter, and will be moving in the upward direction. So this way there will be the movement of surrounding fluid when it comes into contact with heated cylinder. Now, non-dimensional numbers in case of free convection. So there are basically two types of non-dimensional numbers which play a very important role and can govern the free convection heat transfer process. Number one is Grashof number GR and Rayleigh number RA. And in case of free convection, Nusselt number is a function of these two non-dimensional numbers, Grashof number and Prandtl number. Prandtl number we have already discussed. So before going into the detail of Grashof number and Rayleigh number, let us discuss coefficient of volume expansion. The volume expansion coefficient is a property that represents the variation of the density of the fluid with respect to temperature at constant pressure, and it is represented by beta. So coefficient of volume expansion beta will be equal to delta V over delta T at constant pressure divided by original volume. That is variation of volume with respect to temperature at constant pressure divided by original volume of the fluid. It is also defined as minus 1 by rho into del rho over del T into P. For an ideal gas, the coefficient of volume expand can be given by 1 over T, where T is absolute temperature, that is, it is considered in Kelvin. So its unit will be Kelvin inverse. Now let us define Grashof number. The flow regime in natural convection is governed by the non-dimensional number Grashof number. Grashof number is defined as the ratio of product of inertia force to the buoyancy force to the viscous force square. After simplifying, we will get this mathematical expression for Grashof number. Gr is equal to G into beta into Ts minus T infinity into Lc power cube over nu square, where beta is coefficient of volume expansion, Kelvin inverse, Ts is temperature of the surface in degrees Celsius or Kelvin, T infinity is the temperature of the fluid in degrees Celsius or Kelvin, Lc is called as characteristics length of the geometry or significant length of the geometry in meter, and nu is kinematic viscosity of the fluid measured in meter square per second. Here Lc is very important parameter. So this characteristics length Lc will be As by P, where As is the surface area and P is the perimeter, and this will be for horizontal surface. So if a surface is placed horizontally, its characteristics length will be calculated by Lc is equal to As by P to calculate Grashof number. Similarly, Lc will be L, that is length, for vertical surface or plates or cylinders. That is L is equal to height actually for vertical surfaces, and characteristics length will be d for horizontal cylinders and spheres. So using the value of this characteristics length for different geometry and for their different orientation, Grashof number can be calculated. Now, significance of the Grashof number. The Grashof number plays the same role as that played by Reynolds number in case of force convection. That is, value of Grashof number decides the type of flow in case of free convection. Whether flow will be laminar or turbulent can be decided by the value of Grashof number. Rayleigh number. One more dimensionless number is used in addition with the Grashof number, that is Rayleigh number, and it is product of Grashof number into Prandtl number. So Rayleigh number is also used to decide the type of flow, that is laminar or turbulent in case of free convection. If Rayleigh number is less than 10 to power 9, flow will be laminar flow, and if this value is greater than 10 to power 9, flow will be turbulent flow in case of free convection. So after watching this video, following will be the learning outcomes. So after watching this video, you will be able to explain the concept and mechanism of heat transfer by free convection. You will be able to explain various non-dimensional numbers governing natural convection heat transfer process. So with this, I come to an end of this video lecture. Thank you for passionate listening. Happy learning.